Sit, turn, tap, sit. Good boy. Ruff.
I don't know about you guys, but overtime can be such a, especially there's benefits to it where you can make extra money, but is it really worth it at the end of the day?
Yes, it is. It really is. It definitely is.
I guess I still have adulting to do.
Yes, it really is.
Well, let's be clear here. You and me have different reasons for making money.
Yeah.
You got more responsibility than me at this point.
Yeah. But at the same time, you're at the precipice of your life in which that now you really need to start, preparing for the future. So, yeah, it outweighs what the stress that occurs when you're doing it. I don't know. For me, I didn't do overtime for a while because I was too busy being a single dad and such. But once super producer Sally graduated high school, I was like, all right, now it's time for me to crank out. And sure enough, once I saw that first check, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a dandy.
But then do you ask yourself, do I continue doing this? Or
I'm already set. I already know. They know already. I'm coming in every day for a certain time period, and I'm getting that cheddar. I'm gonna make that money.
That's good to know.
Yeah, but speaking of work, I'm doing some double duty here. This on this episode, huh? It looks like as though like I'm doing some coverage.
Yeah. Which I will say, now that I see you in person, I do appreciate that you covered for me on that one episode of History at Headlocks.
Oh, it wasn't. You didn't feel spiteful about it?
Not at all. I mean, you gave me credit, so I was very appreciative of that.
Yeah, listen, for what you guys do, I appreciate it all, man. The work and even the viewers. I know that they appreciate what you guys do. I'm over here trying to like get everything done beforehand. I want to crank out as much episodes as possible before I go on vacation. But you guys have been able to pull the plate out. I always tell people, I say,
despite my hectic schedule that you.
No, listen, listen. I tell you, podcasting is not for the weak, man. People think that it's just like something that you do and you think you can get instant gratification and money, and it's not like that. People gotta understand that there's a grind to this thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Which if you do it for fun, do it for fun. And if you want to take it professionally, there's ways of doing it. That's putting in the work for it.
Guys, and apologies in these moments and times, because if you hear anything in the background, as in an air conditioner, it's fucking hot. And there's one thing that Mike and I do not appreciate. It's heat. And
we are two big men.
Air. We are big backs. So with that big back moment, we need big back air conditioning. So if you hear it, my apologies, but fuck it. Yeah, fuck it.
I will say we are lucky to survive that one day with the 105-degree weather. We're lucky to survive it.
I was at super producer Sally's graduation, and thankfully it was indoors. But even indoors, the air conditioning was on. With all the people there, it just made it a nice, calming 83 degrees. It didn't balance off properly.
I can only imagine every graduation going on the same day, same weather condition.
It was well worth it due to the celebration, but it was fucking punishment, bro. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, like life wants to give you good things, but then also give you a horrible horrible scenario just to live through. That way you can say when you get older, I sat through 105 degree weather watching my daughter walk across the stage
with pride and sweat. That's all it was. It was pride and sweat in the
with a
mix.
tear in your eye. That wasn't a tear. That was sweat.
Yeah, and you would have thought I was an athlete, fucking coming off the bench or going into the game or coming out the game, fucking feeling as though I was hyped up and ready to go. Like it was my moment. I could pretty much say that the sweat made me feel as though like I needed gallons of Gatorade. And, like it was just one of those days.
I mean, Gatorade. I mean, do you prefer Gatorade or Powerade?
Oh, Gatorade. No, okay. Powerade is just the cheap version of Gatorade for me. It's just, and it's a little bit too sugary as well.
And then also, I just thought to drink the Prime.
Yeah, that's awful.
That's another thing. But there was a key word you used there today, sir.
And what was that?
Athlete.
Oh, athletes.
So in case you're not wondering what the hell you're tuning into, this is History and Headlocks, everybody. My name is Mike, and I'm joined with host of Turnbuckle Tabloid, Jay the Red Santee.
Oh, please.
Who this time is filling in for Ariana.
Oh, please. You guys are too kind. Shout out to Ariana. She'll be back soon enough, guys. Listen, I know I don't carry the same appeal and beauty and charm as she does, but hopefully I could I could be to fulfill the role for just for this episode.
And for the first time in a while, we're in the same place. We're in the same studio.
Yeah, it's been a minute that we've been in studio. I've been moving stuff around, trying to get stuff situated here. Still got work to do, but we're soon enough I'll be able to be back in form, and the studio will be back in full running.
It feels like every slight movement you do, something on your computer just says "fuck you."
Yeah. It tends to have its moody issues, and it's like all the women that ran out of my life. They all seem to have moody issues.
That's a different day. That's a different topic.
It's a different show, actually.
It's
a different show, actually.
But I will say, if next time if you do come on the show and you come on with a red wig, there is a problem.
Oh, I mean, that won't be a problem. That'll just be a Thursday. That's fine. We'll do something about that.
Mind you, she changed her hair color, so now it's.
I know. Listen, I can't go around and change the font and the coloring on everything. We just got to go with what it is.
If you changed it just in time for the new shirt, that everybody can go to tpublic.com and buy one right now, which they have various sales each day, every week. So go pick one up. But so you mentioned the word athlete. We're going to talk about sports in the world of professional wrestling, and you're the perfect person to talk about because one, Ari doesn't like sports.
Oh,
so this is the week to cover sports, and two, how big of a sports fan are you actually?
How big of a sports fan? Okay, so I was having this conversation with brother AJ. Shout out to brother AJ. And he recently had gone to a soccer game in Philadelphia, and he was telling me of his escapades and the radical fans that are there. And I told him, I said, listen, I love sports. I love my teams that I follow and such, but to be as diehard as certain fans are, so much so that you're willing to stab someone for, I mean, come on, it's utterly ridiculous. But no, I have a passion for sports. I've played it, I've coached it. Yeah, I've had a long history of it.
The last similarities to wrestling, when you think about it, when it comes to the chants, comes to pretty much being active throughout the show, whether you're in the ring or outside the ring or on the field or off the field. So yeah, that's what we're going to dissect today, where we're going to talk about that part, and we're going to also talk about certain people coming from the world of sports, making their way into the world of wrestling. So where we're going to pretty much start with the beginning, where I think where the sport of wrestling itself, where we talk about how the people who got into wrestling, it's the collegiate level, where people get on the mat and start moving around, grappling with each other. Did you ever want to do?
No,
would that have been an actual correct activity for you in school?
No. That was a little bit too close for me. As for, I mean, I understand, and I appreciate the sport. I actually learned about that during, like, because I loved, and that's to this day I still watch. I'm a big fan of the Olympics, so I would watch it and know and pretty much get an idea of what the scoring is like. What is it? What do you do and such.
Right.
And when you get into like the amateur sports or Greco-Roman, that becomes a little bit too snug for me to be a part of. But I can appreciate the sport though. Shit, the cauliflower ears that guys get from that shit is fucking ridiculous.
I mean, the way they would get just UFC alone, but wrestling itself you'll see on your feeds. It depends if you watch some on your feed, but little kids will be doing like German suplexes and landing other kids on the back of their necks. You also just hear a person crying and like, oh, that kid's done for. The mothers screaming their head off, but that was one of those things where I wish it was an option for me going to school, where it would have been like, because I was a very angry kid, so it would have been one of those cool things for me to sign up for. At least,
you want to talk about it, Mike? You want to talk about it?
Not at the place. Not the time.
That's another show.
Maybe. It was one of those things where when I watched wrestling, it was going to be like, okay, there's nobody in school that talks about it. Like, where can I go to talk about it, or maybe even do some of it, or learn how to do it? There was never really options for me like that in the schools I went to. But, I mean, watching wrestling and talking about how all the other wrestlers talk about the upbringings with going to wrestling classes or wrestling, pretty much join the wrestling teams. I mean, you look at guys like Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler, Brock Lesnar, like
Chad Gable.
A lot of the guys that look like studs or pretty much know what to do in wrestling.
Cody was a champ. Yeah, he was a high school champ.
And the most famous one of them all, Kurt Angle.
Kurt
did at the Olympic level.
Yeah. He had Dr. Death Steve Williams was a competitive amateur wrestler. So a lot of people, when they go into the amateur wrestling, it's always done because they're also playing another sport, such as immensely football. Mm-hmm. So to continue the season and their conditioning, they go into amateur wrestling. That's a transition, so they can still stay fit, be able to stay in the gym, and keep themselves focused. So once season's done, they can go and roll into the next one. For me, anytime the first wrestling I knew of was professional wrestling. So immediately when I started watching it and stuff, I was, of course you get excited to see, wow, you get to do that. And then when you get to see what amateur wrestling is, you go, wait a minute, there's no drop kicks here? What the fuck is this? It's like, you're not even sure what the hell you're watching.
Or they'll tell us like 1 point, like, wait a minute, how'd they get a point? Like, what's that bullshit?
Right. But you do get to see the easy transition in which amateur wrestlers become professional wrestlers, the grapplers, the technicians. Those guys know how to put in, legit bars and holds and locks and maneuver with their opponent and such. So that's big. You could tell who has that kind of upbringing in wrestling when you watch them. You can see where it's coming from. Oh, Josh Alexander, that's another one too. Yeah, Josh.
He's literally a walking collegiate wrestler,
right?
With the headgear too,
right?
Where also the Steiner brothers too.
Steiners, definitely both. Yep, definitely.
And there's always one thing that is always true about those. That half of them, when you look at Brock, Steiners, they can beat up everybody.
Shelton Benjamin.
They know they can handle themselves outside of the wrestling parameters.
Yeah, they're the tough guys. Right. Also, there was this there was a school in Minnesota.
Right, that's where a lot of
all Minnesota, Jesse the Body Ventura, Minnesota, and many of those guys came out of that factory. It was like Kurt Hennig, Rick Rude. There was a ton of Minnesota, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew that was out there who were amateur wrestlers as well, and they all had that persona of being the tough guy. It was those guys that were really showing that they could transition very well.
And when we talk about there's different styles of wrestling, such as Greco-Roman, freestyle, folk style, and then professional wrestling, as we talk about.
Did you hear that? Hogan and Bischoff are doing their version of an amateur wrestling freestyle as a promotion.
Yeah, another money grab for both of them. But I mean, does this mean they're recruiting college athletes? Like, what is the deal?
Yeah, possibly. So that could be something.
And mind you, Hulk Hogan and Greco-Roman wrestling. Did you see him in like the visual of him in the singlet and the headgear? I mean, it doesn't fit.
Nah, not him. But anything for $1, brother.
I mean, have you seen what Eric Bishop looks like recently? I mean, I would believe it.
Oh, Bishop looks great, man. Shit, for his age, doing that DDP yoga, he got them working out, man. Shout out to DDP. I really got to get on that shit. I got to find out how much that thing is running.
Yeah, I think it's also important when we're talking about this style of wrestling is that there's no real show like characters or anything like that. I think you see some people like pop off and show some personality, but it's not like to the length of like where it would be like later on WWE or NWA.
No,
nothing like that. It'd be simple grappling, put your opponent on the mat, and that's it.
Yeah. It's only till nowadays, and especially with social media, that now everybody's become a personality. Everybody's got a gimmick.
Which does it hurt the history of like that type of wrestling, or it's just like something just
no, just brings more eyes to the product and such. I think you need it because it's been so drab where people may or may not get into it nowadays. If you're able to show some kind of personality, character, more people would want to get involved, which is cool. It's fine.
Like I mentioned, does it seem like hard for a transition to do that type of wrestling and then go into a sport, like go into WWE? I'm going to bring up Kaneko, for example, where the hardest part he said was he had to give up his body. Where most of the time you have to be on the defense, make sure you're not going down. But do you see like how that can be a struggle for a lot of these people who transition to professional wrestling?
Yeah, because you're so invested in trained and focused on having to be on the offense and tussle somebody down and show for dominance. It's like he said, to be able to have to give up your body to somebody and trust somebody is a big thing,
right?
And that's and that's a big thing that many athletes, not only from amateur wrestling but from other areas of sports, where they begin to get involved in wrestling, that's a key factor in the presentation is trust. Mm-hmm. You're allowing somebody to pick you up and slam you down to a canvas safely, and and this is what has become a focal point when somebody is coming in as an outside athlete to the business. One individual early on who gravitated to wrestling was Muhammad Ali, the boxer, not the the 7-Eleven guy. People may know, but
I'm learning something new. I didn't realize it was a different Muhammad Ali.
No, yeah, Muhammad Ali was a huge fan of professional wrestling. He actually pretty much got much of his gimmick from Gorgeous George, the early 1950s champion of the time. And he was very keyed on how the business ran. He was very, I guess, understanding of the presentations. When we talk about athletes who know how to take an element of wrestling as in the gimmicks and the personalities, Ali did that. One incident in which I'm showing right now is his match against Gorilla Monsoon.
Yes,
that was
I've seen the clips.
Right, that, and Gorilla was one of those guys that knew what it was to draw the money, and with a person of Ali in that stature, that was an immense introduction to people who are not wrestling fans and who became wrestling fans.
Wasn't he told not to touch him?
At one point, yes, but Ali
He knew how
was
to work it.
no, he let it be known. He's like, no, I want to be, I want to know, I want to get in, I want to know what it is to be a part of this business. So yeah, he was very open to it. Remember, Ali was a special guest referee at WrestleMania 1 as well. So he knew the game, he knew the business.
You mentioned the business part where there's one thing too where you train to become a professional wrestler. And it's like, okay, I have to let this person move my body in a way it has to move. But then when it comes to wrestling as well, it's all predetermined. You get told
No,
whether you're going to lose.
No, it's real to me. Damn it!
Come on, Jay. We know some people who get told that and say, no, it doesn't work for me. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about putting on a show where, like I said, you have to put your body out there, but then it's also sometimes you have to swallow your pride. Like if you come from a world of amateur wrestling and you're like 16-0 or one college year or some nonsense like that, which I don't ever know if that's even like a realistic stat, but go with it. And then you go into the pros and tell you, okay, you need to be able to lose. And that person, that might be like a hard pill to swallow for some people.
I don't think it's a hard pill. I think they kind of get the idea once going in that they say like, hey, many of them
unless they realize what is actually going on.
Yeah, a lot of them have the idea premise to say like, okay, I'll go in knowing this, but you got to make it believable. You have to make it as though like I can be picked because everybody knows my history. Everybody knows who I am or what I can do. So it's like, for instance, not only in amateur wrestling, WrestleMania 2 had a introduction of athletes as well, sports athletes. And that was the battle royal that they had. And many of the guys in that battle royal were from football. Now, if there's a sport that really emphasizes strength and the ability to defeat your opponent, is football, right?
Right.
And you had guys like Refrigerator Perry in there, these big men, and you're in there with professional wrestlers. And the one thing that professional wrestlers like to do is show somebody what wrestling is really about, if you know what I mean. Someone is gonna get a stiff one. And but they these guys came in and they knew what it was to be part of the of this match, and they knew what it was to be part of wrestling at this moment.
Where it's safe to say a lot of these wrestlers that have come through the system throughout the years have all been from the world of football.
Yeah.
And usually the reason is because they didn't make it, except for a career-ending injury. I want you to answer that for me, because like saying like a professional football player breaks their leg, then like when they're all healed up in like 5 years, they say, you know what, let's become professional wrestlers.
Right.
Is it just because they probably need, like, what would you think like the logic is, or like their mentality at that point? If you can't do one physical thing, you're gonna try another physical activity.
Well, at least in the sense of with professional wrestling, of course your body takes a toll. You're there taking those bumps, and it becomes more of a thing where, at least with professional, like we said, it's predetermined, it's choreographed, whatever the case may be. Whereas in football, at any moment, an injury occur. Not to say that can't happen in wrestling, but you know that you're going to go out there in football at least 30, 40 times in one game and be out there and banging as though you're in a car accident every time. Here you're in a match, you do maybe 5-10 minutes, boom, you're in and you're out. And the rest of the night you're at the gorilla watching, or you're just in the back at catering. A lot of guys, for instance, we saw make that transition from years ago who were football players. Goldberg, The Rock, Roman Reigns.
Very weird seeing Goldberg with hair, by the way.
Yeah, right. And somebody said he looked like an extra from The Sopranos. Baron Corbin was another one. Was a big football player. A lot of the Dusty Rhodes played a lot of sports, of basketball and such as well. Football was one of them.
Appearances are deceiving. You never know who did what.
Yeah, you get it. You get
Like,
it.
he was like Macho Man. He didn't play
Baseball.
He was a baseball
player, and it was actually really good. He was scouted by the Cincinnati Reds as well. So,
football.
Yeah, with football, the transition seems to probably come a little bit easier. But I guess with them, it still takes a toll on the body, but it's not as often and as it's not much of a big repetition as it would be as like if you're in a game.
Also, not a lot of representation really for basketball either, if you think about it. I mean, you can think of like your giants, like your Big Shows, your Kevin Nashes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Giant Gonzalez, for fuck's sake, was a basketball player.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, have you ever seen him play? He's like fucking.
He's legit 7'8".
Yeah, but he was awkward as hell playing.
I mean, he was just awkward in general.
That's true. Yeah.
Also, when you're legit 7'8", and your legs are probably fucking killing you from just walking around, sitting. God only knows the airplane travels.
Oh yeah, please. But you still you look at you look at basketball and you don't immediately think wrestling,
right?
But when you get moments at times for once again other not transitioning, but more wanting to be a part of the show, like Shaq. Shaq is a big guy, and he's also he muscle bound. He had a physique, and he had that look to be in the business as well. But he went in and he had a good time playing a role. He had a fun time with it.
He's definitely a character.
Yeah,
yeah. When you see him on TV, it's pretty much that's what you're gonna get from Shaq. Maybe off screen you'll get like a nicer, calmer version, but once that screen's on, he's definitely Shaq, the Big Diesel, Superman, any nickname you can think of off the top of his head.
Big Aristotle.
I mean, they did. Let's talk about for Shaq at least, where there was definitely chances of him doing more in wrestling, where they definitely wanted to do Shaq versus the Big Show at WrestleMania.
Right.
Scheduling conflicts aside,
mm-hmm.
In your honest opinion, would that have made enough movement for WrestleMania?
Well, we did see how
in your opinion.
Well, we did see how Show worked well with Floyd Mayweather.
I was gonna get to that later.
Yeah, and we saw how he worked with the sumo wrestler as well. So it kind of like you get your windfalls here. You got to take a loss there. But I think with Shaq,
but honestly, those paychecks for the Big Show were definitely looking nice. So
definitely. But as for what were the outcomes and what occurred, results,
what the fuck could we have seen from Shaq and the Big Show at WrestleMania?
Honestly, that would have actually brought eyes to the product as well. And especially, we saw what Shaq was able to do in AEW. I think maybe Show would have taken care of him a little bit better.
Right.
But hell, Shaq took a bump on a fucking table, bro.
It's also for a guy the size of Cody Rhodes. Let's be real here.
Right.
Big Show's 7'1" and Shaq's 7'2".
Right. By the way,
and Shaq,
did we ever find out what happened to Shaq after he was taken out of the ambulance?
Oh no, he's still missing. He's still missing in the world of AEW.
Where's Shaq? We haven't seen Shaq in such a long time.
I forgot what controversy it was, but it was when the Pauls were inside the NBA, and Shaq mentioned, "Oh, I wrestled for AEW."
Right,
and Logan had that face like, "What? What's that?" But I mean, we're talking about the NBA. I think Shaq is arguably the third biggest star out of the sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
That with LeBron, Kobe. Could you imagine like LeBron James if this would happen years ago? Not now when he's fucking 42 at the tail end of his career, but if he were to say, "I want to step in the ring for one shot," would you do it, or would you believe it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Wrestling fan.
Yeah, when you see that these guys, how they're very much big kids, they're big fans, they love it.
Right.
The
difference is just like, do you just say yes for shits and giggles, or do you say, okay, let's actually try and make some money?
Right. Or maybe it's just like, hey, I want to see what these guys go through. I want to see if it really does take a toll, and it does fuck it, it hurts. You know,
Yeah, LeBron do a back bump. See how
right.
it takes him to get back up.
Right. You get that 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 appeal for it. You want to give it a go and such. LeBron being a big fan. The big Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Brunson, Giannis. Antetokounmpo. They would have
how Tony Khan said it in that very exciting way.
He had they would have like little wrestling matches before
pregame ritual.
Yeah, that was their pregame ritual. So you knew that they had championship belts that they walked around with. So you could see that they too would like to have a part of that as well. Maybe have a little fun doing that.
Because growing up, there was really never a thing of like, what if they crossed into our world? There was always like, oh, like Russell Westbrook has the speed of like he can jump over to the NFL, be a running back.
Mm-hmm.
There was never like, oh, like he has the body of a wrestler. There's no ever comparisons like that I ever heard of, saw of. Maybe I guys like Ben Wallace, because they put him in like in one boxing game, and he looked very scary in it. But.
No. Ben Wallace looked like someone. When you look at it, certain players, like, well, look at Rodman. There you go. Dennis Rodman wrestled like he was in WCW. Like that was.
This is where I asked again: was that wise or something stupid to do?
He did pretty well, though. I don't think he was bad. He knew the role to play. He knew that, that you were going to take an extension of who he really was, translate it into professional wrestling, paired him up with the perfect guy with Hogan, and they made it work. They made it they put him in the NWO, damn it, it worked.
And mind you, I think I was reading observers around that time where WWF was trying to make a play for him too, and he would have been a member of DX.
Right.
Which I totally believe.
Yeah, I could have seen that.
Because I mean, look at how outlandish the dude is. Just change it from black and white to black and green.
Yeah, he definitely would have fit the mold there as well. He's a larger than life kind of guy. Like
it's a special personality in the world of sport.
Right. And and
I don't mean
that's how he put himself over.
When I say special, I'm not talking like special. I'm just talking about his uniqueness made him stand out from every NBA player at the time.
He was a walking billboard of wrestling. He had the flashy look, the hair colors, right? Rodzilla.
Legit fan?
Huh?
Was he a legit fan or was he just taking a paycheck?
If I remember correctly, he wasn't like a diehard fan. He would watch it, but he wasn't like one of the hardcore guys. And it wasn't until a chance meeting with Hogan that he's you ooze wrestling, brother. You should be part of the business. You should do a run with us in WCW.
Because what if I told you there was a report that they wanted to have him paired up with Goldust?
That would have been something interesting. Like I would have liked to have seen that. That would have been cool.
Just them two just staring at each other, just like
doing weird shit,
kissy faces or whatever the fuck they do.
I was recently listening to a reels on how Rodman would he would just do it at the intimidation factor. That was his way of getting people out of the game, like blowing kisses at them, slap them on the butt. But he was no nonsense as a ball player, and that is basically the essence of what professional wrestling is. So he gravitated to it very easily.
And honestly, can you believe that they had him do 3 wrestling matches, 3 pro matches?
Yeah.
Can you name all 3?
No, but I know I know the one with DDP and Karl Malone, which is another one. Karl Malone.
That's the middle match.
Right, that's the middle match. The Karl Malone one was he looked like a wrestler. Like he had the body frame. Another one he was the one I was a big fan. He was a big wrestling fan.
Because I know DDP reached out to him and asked him if he wanted to be a part of it.
Right. Malone was a big wrestling fan. And
this was also around the NBA Finals time when they
right
faced the Bulls in the finals. I think it was like months later afterwards.
Right.
which would kind of been funny if they were doing this in the middle of the season. Like, oh, by the way, Carl and Dennis are going to, like, during the All-Star break, are going to be like bash at the beach for a wrestling match if you want to tune in for that.
Right. But, it was funny to see that for guys like that to actually get into the business and sell tickets, because that's what it's always about, brother. We got to sell the tickets. They, I remember watching a pay-per-view. I was hooked. I was in it. I was ready to. I was like, shit. If these guys could do it, I can only imagine who else in the NBA would be able to do it. Shit, I would have liked to see like Sean Kemp in that time, or Xavier McDaniels, Anthony Mason. Those kind of guys who are brawny, had like size on them, be part of wrestling.
What about Michael Jordan?
If Mike can't win, he ain't getting into it.
If you paired him with the top baby face,
Mike was into being really competitive. This guy, he didn't want anything stagey. Mike wanted to really like compete. This is why he's so fucking. He was such a hard ass on the golf course, because he really wanted to win. He wanted to win at any cost.
He would have been the one to go stiff ski on a lot of people.
Right. But no, it was good to see that these guys transitioned over and was able to be a part of the business, and they took it serious.
But for Rodman, so he did the tag match with Hogan, DDP, and Malone. His first one, it was him and Hogan against the Giant and Lex Luger.
Okay.
And then his last one was against Macho Man Randy Savage at Hog Wild. At fucking Sturgis, in the middle of the desert.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, that's not a bad person to go if you have to have Rodman do one stupid singles match. Macho Man's not the worst option.
No. So far, the names that you have mentioned, these were people that could take care of him. DDP they would take care of him. Macho would take care of him. He was in and what was it? You said on the Giant?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. He would. Yeah, he was. He was a little green at that time still, but he was good.
And you mentioned his name, so we're going to talk about when boxing athletes get into the world of wrestling. So let's pretty much talk about the first one, Floyd Money Mayweather. Now, I'm not an avid boxing viewer, but Floyd Mayweather at the time, around 2008, best pro boxer in the world. Was that arguably the best?
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes. So pound for pound, as the term goes, pound for pound.
Pound for pound. So then let's put him with the 441-pound Big Show. And just try to sell me on the idea, because going back and watching that, it still never made sense to me.
Well, you think about it.
The world's little boxer against the world's largest athlete.
And that's all it was. It really was just that. It's like how do you put a boxer of his size against someone who's so huge? The David and Goliath story, that was the easiest thing. And everything was pitched about money and such. But also the big story was, how we're letting these athletes come through the door and become professional wrestlers. This goes far as back as when Piper had his issues with Mr. T.
Right.
Although he was an actor, T had a sport history as well, his background as well. So,
because I believe by that time he did Rocky.
He was in Rocky, Clubber Lang, and he
still one of the best villains.
Yeah. I pity the fool. He
also, but they gimmicked one to High Hill where they put some potato in Piper's gloves, where he could actually get his full fist. He could make a fist.
Right. They wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to really, because he was he was very much offended by the fact that he had guys going in there. But then
he actually knew what he would do. Like if he were able to knock out Mr. T, he could have.
Yeah. But then when you got guys like, and T used to he tried out for the Green Bay Packers when he wanted to play. Really? He was going to play football. Yeah. And he wrestled as well as in school and such. So he had somewhat of a background. But transitioning from the Mayweather, they also saw the box office that they had with Tyson when Tyson was there, and he was the referee and such. And Tyson, another one, huge wrestling fan, big wrestling fan. So they saw the dollars there when we were able to get really legit fighters in there. So I think with the show and Money Mayweather thing was that it was the good, the David and Goliath look, and can a legit professional fighter go against a pro wrestler of his size and stature? Shout out to Show, man. He fucking he let it be known, like, hey, if you're gonna serve me one, you gotta make it legit. You gotta give me a clear shot. And woo, did Money Mayweather give him a shot
with those ducks too?
Woo, man.
It was definitely like, visually this looks nuts, but I think because I think what they tried to do at the time, what the year before, when they did the McMahon versus Trump, Battle of the Billionaires, they definitely tried it a little one too many with the Mayweather and Big Show thing, because they didn't do it again at 25, 26, 27. I think the era of bringing in a sports star to face one of our guys and have one of our guys put them over. In the long run, maybe this is not a good look. But I mean, later on, when Saudi Arabia starts bringing in the money, we call up Tyson Fury for a match with Braun Strowman.
Oh yeah, that did. We had to get Fury out there.
Yeah, I mean, from memory, I don't think it was that bad, but it's also that was the one I could actually buy, because both of them were it was actually face to face, but it was also a big spot for Braun Strowman, who still young, still green, WWE, and Tyson Fury, the best pound for pound boxer in the world at the time. It's one of those things where, is that avenue you keep trying for maybe every couple of years, or do you just try it once, just see what happens? You go into the well from time to time, because remember, they not only have boxers that they do now, especially with WWE and their ownership with TKO. Their other big thing was having the mixed martial artist comes in. That's when the business really gets tricky. That's when you guys who really want to sit there, not to take anything away from boxing, I love boxing, but when you get to another level of mixed martial arts, these are guys that really go in the ring and use everything possible to win. You see guys like Tom Lawler get in there, Matt Riddle, Ronda. Look at how she transitioned over and stuff. Shayna Baszler. These are people who go into an octagon and really handle business, and now they're transitioning to become professional wrestlers, and that's become the new boxing when you get those MMA fighters in there. I mean, we can't forget about the original one. I mean, but yes, he was a wrestler before that, but when he transitioned over to UFC and then came back to wrestling, the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock.
You had Shamrock, you had Dan Severn, those guys, Steve Blackman, who's a legit.
That too did MMA as well.
Yeah.
He Dr. Death, did pretty much everything in the world of wrestling. So
yeah, he touched every facet of wrestling, and in sports, he's another guy who played like football, amateur wrestling. He makes bare knuckle fighting. By the way, when we saw wrestling get real, that's what they would say, is when we saw the Brawl for It All, and that was a disaster to say the least. We have Butterbean, who ended up being in that as well, and he he showed I do this for real. This ain't no game for me.
This is definitely a rhetorical question, but is it ever a good idea to do a shoot boxing tournament in the world of wrestling?
No. No.
Because I think a lot of the boys said at the time, we know how to work. If you want us to do a fake boxing tournament, let us do it. We know how to work it. Well, we could try.
Well, you think about what happened when you got a legit shooter, like Daniel Puder, who
almost broke Kurt Angle's arm.
Right. Like a legit shooter. And that pretty much
ended his whole career.
Yeah. But they made sure he got a send off before he left.
I was watching everything on OSW. They're doing the rise of John Cena, and they covered that whole spot where, here comes the locker room leader, friendly hardcore Holly to save the day.
He was giving them the business. Didn't Eddie get involved in that as well? They gave him the business.
Benoit, and Bob.
Yeah, they let it be known they gave him the business.
All because Daniel Puder, who was a shoot UFC fighter, was able to lock on an armbar on Kurt Angle and almost snap his arm off.
Yeah, and I guess someone didn't wise the kid up before he went out there, because
don't make our best wrestler in the world look bad.
Yeah. And you seen the competitiveness within Kurt as well during that segment. But Pewter just got the best of him. He was quick, and that's what happens. That they know locks, they know moves, they know transitioning, and like we mentioned earlier, you got to give up your body for that. You got to give up the ability to do that. Shit, these guys were always like wanting to fuck around. You heard about the plane ride from hell that fucking
Brock and Perfect having
a legit fucking match on a plane, like.
And they almost opened the emergency exit door.
Right, like what the fuck, like guys, we're in a fucking plane. Settle down.
The last thing you want to hear, like a year after 9/11, to hear about two wrestlers wrestling off a plane.
Right, like what the fuck are we doing, guys? What the fuck are we doing? But yeah, when sports and wrestling comes together, it's always a menagerie of possibilities and different clashes that can occur, and I often find it interesting. I never sit there and go, oh, what the fuck are we doing here? I just like to see like how they can make it play out.
I also want to bring up too for sports outside of wrestling, events that happen sometimes change for the world of wrestling. For example, I don't know if you remember this, but Buster Douglas,
yeah,
I forget who knocked out. He knocked out
Tyson.
Mm-hmm. So he replaced Tyson for that Saturday night's main event with Hogan and Savage.
Right.
Where that's one of those rare examples where in wrestling they had a plan set, like Tyson's going to come in, the dude gets knocked out, so let's bring in his opponent and give him a lesser payday because he's still new.
Right.
It's one of those things too. I mean, Shaq as well, when he first got to when he got drafted, number 1 overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
WCW comes a call, hey, we're running a show in Orlando. Come to the main event. You be Hogan's corner against Flair.
Big Aristotle, Sugarlicious.
I mean, it's we don't see it right nowadays. Like Cooper Flag that just got drafted to the NBA. He's not going to be at SummerSlam in New Jersey.
You may never know, man.
I mean, I don't know.
No, but
we don't see those occurrences where like they bring in sports athletes where the timing is just right.
Well, now with how, like I mentioned earlier, the TKO ownership of WWE and now their partnership with Fanatics, we've been seeing like a big crossover and such when it comes to sports.
Right, but it's only in the sense of, hi, they're here to see the show, and then when the camera's off, we put the people back in their regular seats and they fuck off.
Nah, the funny thing is that you say that, but I was recently watching a video on the socials, and there was a player, I believe, from New Orleans, from the Saints, and he's coming out and he's like, I believe in him. I believe in Joe Hendry. And I'm like, oh shit, like that there's a fan base in that in those sports. In their partnership with Fanatics, they just recently had their fan event in New York City. There was a huge crossover there where the sports and the wrestling mixed together. Hell, I was just watching the video of Rhea Ripley throwing a football. If that woman has not become even more fucking sexy, I don't know how she can throw a football and hit the target. God damn, that woman is fucking perfect.
I did see that on the way here, and I was like, oh my god, like this is
Jesus Christ.
And she had like the little face, like did I do that?
Just I don't even care if you, baby, I don't care if you know how to cook. I don't need you to do that shit. Just
if you can throw a football.
You throw a football, you want to watch a game without having to be asking me questions. Yo, we good, buddy. You got the right one, buddy.
I mean, we mentioned Rhea Ripley. Let's talk about some of the female athletes who come from different worlds of sports. Where some of them come from soccer, some from basketball as well. Like I will say, like in the basketball world, it's a lot more females more than the men. Like I mean, like Jade Cargill, for example, Lash Legend. Jada Parker, who does soccer, but also some women who have backgrounds in female bodybuilding, some in dance, some in different other sports, and a lot of them take to wrestling much faster than some of the men even. Like, what do you think the reason might be for that?
Well, first of all, when you said bodybuilding, the first person I thought was Alexa Bliss. Did you ever see her? She was fucking cut the hell up when she was younger. It was like, wow.
Sometimes, she said that she was starting at the same time as Dana Brooke. She was better than Dana.
Yeah, she was. I mean, wow. She. But you get also who when they come from other competitive sports like gymnastics. Tiffany Stratton, a gymnast. Sol Ruka, I believe Sol Ruka is a volleyball player. Or
she definitely gives up the volleyball.
Yeah, and look at how athletic she is. They're the female athlete has taken to wrestling, I believe, a little more easier these past few years. The transitioning, like you mentioned, even cheerleaders, like they have to be flexible and be able to tumble as well. So like that's a key component of wrestling that people don't understand, tumbling. And that's why a lot of the gymnasts are able to
be bumping. Right?
Yeah, because they know how to, but if you fall off an apparatus in gymnastics, you got to learn how to take that bump. So yeah, it seems to be an easier path for them to get the next in lines in WWE.
I don't think Rhea Ripley is an athlete. I think she's just like one of those fans who want to be a wrestler.
This shit, if she could throw a football, I must assume that she did something in her fucking life. Like where she's from, they probably played she probably played rugby and shit. So
I mean, like, the people you wouldn't expect to be athletes. I mean, look at the Bell twins. They were soccer players. They were going to be pros. Then Nikki suffered an injury, and then they went into pro wrestling. And of course, like for women's wrestling, like all of them are pretty much models, but most of them did sports as well. I mean, like all of them almost went pros as well. Like not just the current crap. I mean, Bianca Belair is probably like the best example of a sports
track star. Yeah.
The best example of a woman athlete transitioning into arguably one of the bigger women's wrestlers in the world right now.
Yeah, she was like when she came through the doors, like one of those big early days of the NIL. Yeah. She was a great example of women transitioning from outside of wrestling into the business. Right. You often see there were times when men and women who were coming out from other sports and they didn't seem to translate or transition well.
Right.
Bianca was like lightning in a bottle. She was able to do it as and pick it up as quick as anybody else did, and people were that's why she got the fame and notoriety as quick as she did. She legit knew what it took to get in that ring. Man, being a track star, shit, conditioning and being able to know how to breathe, and wrestling is a big thing to do. You got to know how to the conditioning to be able to stay in that ring for 15-20 minutes at a time. Yeah, it's like track. You got to learn how to keep that body going.
Physically too, she's impressive. I mean, I was talking about Ariana about this other day. Like is this crop of women talent the most physically fit you've ever seen, like compared to like the old days? Because like the women would be wrestlers, but they never looked like this.
No, everybody. I always laugh because it reminds me of when the old days of women's wrestling, and they wrestled in what you call it, in bathing suits.
Right.
they had bathing suits on. But now, they're coming in, they're in shape. This woman has fucking abs. I mean, Bianca's like legit. Like,
right.
Everybody
always points out her shoulders. Like her shoulders are so broad.
Yeah. And it's just.
And then look at a woman like Jordan Grace, like a female bodybuilder who if you want to see pictures of her day one, look at her now, completely different woman.
I always said I miss old. I miss fatter. I miss Little Mama Pump. Or Thick Mama Pump. Either one. Oh, but Bianca, when you look at her, she's just you have to say, yo, this is what women wrestlers should look like. Beautiful, body sculpted, and then when you get in the ring, you know what to do in the ring. Like it's just it's formidable to say that, like, she was fit for the business.
Well, I mean, let me pose you like counter argument. Do all of them have to look like a Rhea Ripley, a Bianca Belair, and Jordan Grace?
It's it's flavorful. And that's the other thing about wrestling. Everything,
Do you want a full roster of women looking like bigger muscles than the men?
Well, I was always, they all start looking like fucking the female American gladiators. That's what they start looking like. Shout out to Rico. Rico was one of the big champions, an athlete as well. He was in the American Gladiators and transitioned. You look so like they don't look like that.
You have women like Nia Jax and Piper Niven who have unique body types, but like you're not gonna tell Nia, okay, you have a year to look like Rhea.
But that's what I say. Everybody, that's what's so great about wrestling is that everybody looks like. Look, Dusty Rhodes didn't look like an athlete, but. Right. Shit, we see video of him cooking in a fucking ball court. And this shit, like Dusty was, athletes come in different shapes and sizes.
I mean, let's also remember too, after the pandemic, there was the decree. I think you talked about it on the show where we're gonna stop looking at indie darlings and start developing new stars,
right?
Which is what the NIL program is called.
Mm-hmm. Next in line.
So when guys like Roderick Strong are still at NXT, but now we have 5 new. I'm becoming stars who want to make from the ground up. I mean, a lot of them we see nowadays where, like Tori D'Angelo, Olympic athlete who's a total mobster on NXT right now.
Right.
I mean, also a lot of it too is like very character driven too, but like, isn't that smart to do? Like, just look for the next college athlete or failed athlete, whatever you want to call it, and see if you can make a star out of them. Is that wise, or to stay away from indie guys as well?
Sports is just such a rare instance of success. You think about how many athletes are going in. Your numbers dwindle by the next level you're trying to get into. You play high school ball, and let's say in football's instances, you play high school ball. You get scouted and you get a scholarship for college. And even that, those numbers are, the chances of getting that are small. Then to get into the NFL, it's like, it's a $1 in a million shot. And mind you, and that's a 55 man roster, 45 man roster at times and such. Basketball, same thing. The numbers, the chance of getting in are smaller. With independent wrestling, with professional wrestling, all you're doing is you're paying to get trained, and if a WWE or AEW calls, hey, that's great, but at least you get to have that steady work. Look at what's happening now with the kids of professional wrestlers, the legacy kids. Look at Braun Breaker, another kid, athletic, came from a wrestling background as well. Now we're looking to see that Mark Henry's son, who's an amateur wrestler. He's getting NIL'd. You get Scott's son is coming in. Hell, there's even talks of even bringing in Goldberg's son, and they're looking at probably Shane McMahon's son. So, and all of those are athletes, and that's coming in from elsewhere. So wrestling itself can be an opening for anything outside of professional sports.
Oh. So, as we lead off with this, as we talked about all different kinds of sports, where pretty much everybody came from the world of football, but is there any other sport you can think of that you'd like to hear about a wrestler's background from? Would you like to hear I always mention Obafemi, who was pretty much a tosser. I don't know what the fucking word is, but
a tosser,
like an Olympic tosser. He
the shot put,
the
shot put, a tosser. I like that.
I mean, is there any other sport you like to from what different background of sport that you would come from?
Well, you get. I wouldn't be surprised if WWE went calling for what's her name, Maya Lesnar. She's a shot putter, and she also does the hammer throw. That, and you look at her, it's like that's
Mini Brock.
Yeah, that's her dad right there. I believe like rugby players, those are some fucking tough bastards. Like when you play rugby,
isn't Rich Holland technically a rugby player?
Who's that?
Rich Holland.
I believe Ridge was that, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Bronson Reed is a rugby player as well.
Really?
I have to look that up. I believe he was. Um, those are some really tough motherfuckers, man. Who I really would like to see transition. I would love to see some hockey players get into wrestling, especially like the
We need a real goon.
the goon. Oh hell yeah, like that would be fucking cool to see. I want to see somebody really transition over from hockey to do that. That's crazy.
You know what would be one of the like a funny background for a wrestler?
What's that?
Olympic swimmer.
Yeah, let me tell you, that's another one. Breathing, that you definitely need to do and know. It's like how to.
Like if you ever confront the wrestler by the pool, the wrestler just jumps in the pool, just swims as fast as he can.
It's like you're gonna see. Well, at least he's comfortable wearing trunks. That's one thing. At least you know that he'll be able to go in the ring wearing his trunks. But yeah,
I mean, it's a rugby player. I mean, rugby players can be all different sizes.
Of course, yeah.
Just look at him.
Yeah, he's fucking huge. But you know, those are like the kind of sports that you can see that there is some kind of physicality that could really transition into a wrestler. So I would be interested to see how that goes, and if they will companies will start looking deeper into those different areas of sports to see if they could have them change and transition into professional wrestlers.
So let me ask you this, and then we'll go into this week in wrestling afterwards. But do you think WWE should kind of make their place in the Olympics, where like let some of their athletes go back to the sport they used to know? Like Bianca go out there for like a track meet and see if she could beat the fastest runner out there right now.
Yeah, I think by the time they're coming, depending on if they're still young, like I could have seen that maybe happen a few years ago when it was like Chad Gable and Jason Jordan, that they could have went back and had one more tryout with the Olympics. Otis was an amateur wrestler as well. That's how he and Chad Gable knew each other. They were teammates. It's another one. So I don't know if maybe they would be in shape to do it.
Maybe they'll run their own version of the Olympics.
Well, you think about it. Remember, Brock left WWE to go to try out for the NFL.
Yes.
He was terrible at it, but he tried. You know, he gave it a shot, gave it a go. CM Punk left and went into the fucking UFC. He was terrible at it, but he gave it a shot. You know, but you know, if they could move away and try it, I don't see it. Why not? I know that WWE blocked Bobby Lashley from going back into mixed martial arts. I believe he wanted to have a fight at Strikeforce, in which he was he had a great record there, but they didn't allow him to go back.
Blocked him?
That was it was a few years before they let him go. It was like a couple of years before they let him go. He was offered a MMA match, and they blocked him from doing it.
Yeah, but fucking Brock, yeah, like I get Brock wrestles in UFC.
Well, because Brock, you know, he's a representation of WWE. Bobby Lashley's not and it's the UFC. It's not no Strikeforce. What is that? But Strikeforce isn't around anymore. But
yeah, never say this man's representation of the company when it comes out he did steroids. Then you look like a dumbass.
I mean, who hasn't these days? I mean, come on. I mean,
I guess so.
Shit, I'm on steroids.
But not for that, the average Joe Schmoker head gets steroids nowadays. It's just for medical purposes.
Hey,
it's not as widely used nowadays as it was back then. Like, people just use it for what? To get big muscles and all that shit. But now it's like, oh, it helps with sinuses, or maybe it helps with something else.
Right. Antihistamine, there's the steroids in it. No, but when you talk about the sports, one of the big offenders of it was the NFL. The NFL had a big policy against steroids, and all of a sudden that just went away. Like nobody gives a shit.
I mean, in wrestling too. Let's be real.
Yeah, definitely. When you get a guy like Randy Orton, when he goes away and he comes back from his motorcycle accident and he looks humongous, you're like, wait a minute. Like, you gotta question that.
Even admitted to taking steroids where he took some time off.
Yeah, definitely. When you get a guy like Randy Orton, when he goes away and he comes back from his motorcycle accident and he looks humongous, you're like, wait a minute. Like, you gotta question that. Even Maven admitted to taking steroids Right. That's what. Yeah, Bobby was in Bellator. That's what it was. It was the
Right.
Bellator. He had a Bobby had a 17 matches. He was 15-2 with 6 knockouts, 6 submissions, and only 3 decisions. Wow, that's a fucking spectacular record.
But I think a lot of people looked at his opponents and said that they looked like easy opponents.
But
I mean,
I remember watching him.
I don't know too much about MMA.
Yeah, I remember watching him, and he didn't have a lot of cakewalks. One of them was he might have been, out of his league at the time, but he had Bob Sapp that he was in the Ultimate Fight with. So he did well, and I believe what it was is like we mentioned, Brock was the representation of WWE in toughness. It wasn't Bobby, so that was the real reason why it didn't happen. It's foolish, but they should have let him do it.
I think it's time for this week in wrestling because I think to close out for this whole episode with this topic, there's more sports athletes to come.
Oh, definitely. That door is not closing.
Whatever sport they come from.
Yeah, that's not happening. Wow, he was the International Military Sports Council's gold medalist. Bobby had a great athletic career outside of wrestling. He had a great job going on with him. But yeah, the transitioning from sports to professional wrestling is not going to end. The one thing that I could say is that I think that when they do come in, they have a hindsight to believe that maybe it'll be easier, but you'll hear the stories afterwards. It was the toughest thing that I had ever to do transitioning. It was, running the ropes, taking those bumps, I could do a workout with my old team and it wouldn't have been this difficult you hear those stories, and it's good to hear because then you can know that they respect the craft and they're going to legit take it serious.
Or you hear the one rare one where I heard Ivy Nile on James's workout said that her trial was the best day of her life.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
Think about that too. Like somebody who actually enjoyed the whole process. Didn't have frown, no tears.
Right. Another delicious looking woman as well.
This is the perfect timing now to have the drop.
Okay, I don't have the drop because, like I said, a new face of StreamYard has hit, so I'll just do it myself. This week in wrestling history. So there you go.
July 4th of 1993, Lex Luger arrives by helicopter and landed aboard the USS Intrepid battleship in New York City. The reason he was answering the challenge set by 627-pound Yokozuna that no one could body slam. Wrestlers and sports stars alike lined up to lift the big man. Rick and Scott Steiner, Tatanka, Crush, Randy Savage, as well as NBA players Scott Burrow, Bill Frolic of the Detroit Lions,
yeah,
Joe Morris of Detroit Lions, Joe Morris and Peter Diaconetti.
Yeah, whatever.
Of the Pittsburgh Penguins, all tried and failed, just as it looked like Yoko had the challenge won. Luger arrived and decked out in this fucking outfit. You may be showing it on screen.
Oh no! People know.
Arrived decked out in the Stars and Stripes. Hit Yoko with a steel plate infused forearm, hoisted him up, and slammed him to the canvas. USA.
That was.
Did you watch this live?
Yes, I did. No, it wasn't live. It was pre-recorded. Where I saw it.
I mean,
yeah. At the time.
Oh wait, this wasn't on television.
No, it wasn't. They filmed it and then you saw it. You saw it like later.
Okay.
I think it was like it showed up like on WWE Superstars or some shit. And wow, you want to talk about cheesy? This was, I believe, the moment in time for me. By this time, I was, I have to say, about almost 17. I was going to be 17 at the time, and I knew what the business was like. I knew what it was. But this was the time when I realized that WWE or WWF at the time was going to shit. And
when they're doing body slam challenges on the US.
Yeah, and like I said, I knew wrestling at the time. And I knew Luger, and I was like, Luger wasn't this guy. Like Luger was a heel. He was, and for him to be pumping the red, white, and blue, and
all of a sudden, after being like Narcissus.
Yeah, no, the Lex Express, no. But I got to appreciate Yoko more later on. for that magnitude.
There's several things about this that I love watching for the first time, where all the sports athletes, like, all them trying to get running starts on Yoko by like shoot punching him or doing whatever the fuck they were doing. You see Yoko's face, like, knock it the fuck off. This is a work. Like, some of them were trying to legit body slam this dude. And then Yoko takes his break by eating a bowl of white rice. and then the best is when you hear the helicopter come down, and people are like, Hogan. Because we haven't seen him since King of the Ring. And then out pops Lex Luger. And then we went, oh. That's not Hogan.
That was exactly when it occurred. This is when we had the kissing babies and shaking hands of Lex Luger. Joe Morris, shit, that was my guy. He was a running back for the Giants. Shit, Joe Morris.
It wasn't a body slam. It was like a hip toss.
Right. But Lex says it to this day. He says he thanks Yoko for what he did, because he was like, if he would have really tried to slam him, he would have probably like broke a vertebrae or something like that. But he gave himself up gave himself up for him.
Right, next up, also on July 4th, but in 2005, Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels defeated Carlito and Kurt Angle in the main event of WWE Monday Night Raw in Sacramento, California. Following the match, Michaels hit Hogan with a sweet chin music to turn heel and set up what would become the infamous Icon versus Icon match at that year's SummerSlam.
Nothing says 4th of July more than Hogan and Shawn
racist
winning.
Hot dog and
the racist hot dog and the ass bandit Shawn Michaels.
I was gonna say the crybaby Shawn Michaels.
Did you see what he's cooking over there with NXT? He loved that. He loves fat asses, boy. I'm telling you.
Let's also remember too, old Shawn Michaels came after their match at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, it's fun. It's still funny to this day, but it's also one of those things where it was so unprofessional.
Shawn, that was just Shawn being Shawn, as they would say. But yeah, I loved when he kicked the shit out of him. That was a great fucking moment for me. And then the promos that came afterwards when he was imitating Hogan and shit, I loved it.
I loved it when he hit the kick.
Yeah.
And then Jay was like, oh, what happened? What happened? Like, Shawn Michaels just kicked Hulk Hogan in the face.
Out of nowhere.
Is it safe to say he was the first out of nowhere move? Like his, at least.
Yeah. Shawn, the sweet chin music was like the first out of nowheres. Yeah, definitely.
Then DDP.
Yeah.
Okay, you gave me a really old one.
All right, I'll read it. I get it, because since I'm the old man here. In 19,
when you weren't born yet.
I was born like 2 years later. In 1915, in Omaha, Nebraska, Joe Stetcher defeated Charlie Cutler to win the American Heavyweight Wrestling Championship. 22-year Stetcher won the first of two falls in a best of 2 out of 3. Sorry, I lost something here. Sorry, I got it. 2 out of 3 falls match winning. No, because I had to update the ticker on the page. Winning by both using the body scissors on Cutler until he was exhausted and then getting the pin. The reason why I picked this was because in 1915, a 2 out of 3 falls match. Do you know how long those matches lasted?
Like an hour?
No, they were longer than that. Sometimes they would go for 3 hours. Like these guys, remember at that time, wrestling was wrestling. We talk about amateur wrestling. This was like, it wasn't stagey.
Before that was like circus acts.
Right. And this was like years later when they became more choreographed. It was like, I read a book about this. It had to do with like some dude with a name like Scheckenblecker who he threw a match. And that's when professional wrestling became what it was.
Okay, little cornet with Scheckenblecker.
Right. And it was some shit like that, like Carney Scheckenblecker or whatever the fuck it is. But to think that the match was won by using a body scissor, like it just says like, wow, okay. That's how far we've gone in wrestling, using body scissors. Next up.
I will say too, imagine nowadays that move ends a match, everybody would be so dumbfounded. Like they would be pissed, but they'd just be like, really?
Yeah, right. It'd be such a downer finish for anybody.
I wouldn't say downer. They just stare at each other like, did we miss something?
Yeah, body scissors. It's like when you see a finish which is a sleeper hold, you go, oh, okay,
You have to wait till
great.
3
Yeah,
games.
it's like great, awesome. Next up, 2016 Impact Wrestling aired what is considered to be the first true cinematic match in wrestling, titled The Final Deletion. The match pitted Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy, and it was filmed at the Hardy compound in North Carolina. This match introduced the wrestling world to the broken universe and led a career resurgence for both Hardys, who were re-signed by WWE the following spring. It also led to the creative acclaim for the segment's producer Jeremy Borash, who made the leap to WWE in the aftermath of this series of productions airing. The legacy of the cinematic matches heightened in 2020 during the depths of the COVID-19 pandemic, when traditional wrestling matches became harder to film. The most notable match was the Undertaker faced AJ Styles in the Boneyard match, which was also produced by Borash. This match not only main evented night one of WrestleMania 36, but also serves as the last match of Taker's illustrious career. I remember when I first saw him, shout out to Matt. Matt was the one who put me on to The Final Deletion.
Well,
and I was like,
I remember you were definitely like not vibing.
Right. I said, what the fuck is this?
Because it's Matt Hardy with his hair blown out, talking in tongues. Like he has his wife and son out there, and then this.
Listen, was I entertained? Yes. Was I fucking confused? Most definitely.
Because there's subtle lore, like tidbits in there where, like,
right,
if you understood what they're going for, then this was all for you.
Right.
But I was saying, this is the one thing that I remember everybody in the wrestling business said I sat down and I had to watch.
Exactly.
This. Regardless of who they were, old, new, like the old veterans, I had to sit down and be like, what the fuck is this?
Exactly. I felt the same way about it, and I was in my mind. I was going, why am I enjoying this? Like I don't know what the fuck it was.
Watching two brothers fight in a yard.
And magical shit is happening. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
There's fireworks.
And I had to sit there and say, it's genius. It grew on me after a while. Then when we started watching it happen again, and like they mentioned, you had the cinematic match with AJ and Undertaker. You had a match with Bray and Cena.
Yeah.
Like, we had more final deletions after this. I think there's like 7 in total. I believe so. And then AEW did their own. They did AJ. I'm sorry, Sting and Darby
against Cage and Starks in that warehouse.
Right. So you kind of sat there and went, yeah, that's kind of cool. But at the same time, although the Hardys are getting praise for it, wasn't Lucha Underground doing something of that magnitude as well?
Well, so a lot of that stuff was definitely cinematic, but the matches were definitely just straightforward.
The matches in the ring, but I'm talking about like the cutaways and like the promos, weren't they like kind of cinematic?
Not really. When it came to the matches, they definitely showed all the matches. If they cut away, maybe it was for something that may happen, like a stoppage or anything like that. But definitely with this type of, because the pandemic pretty much shut everything down. So when they decided, let's still do wrestling, but also film matches in a movie type way.
Right.
Because, I mean, also, too, WWE did some silly ideas. I mean, Money in the Bank match.
Oh, my God.
Cinematic masterpiece.
Remember Randy and Bray's?
House of Horrors?
The House of Horrors?
That was before, but...
but I'm saying, like...
That was like a precursor to what it could have been. The Swamp Fight was the worst one.
The Swamp. Brian Braun, right. That was the other one.
Where the lights go out at night.
Yes.
I did think that one through.
Yeah.
I mean, during that time, they definitely had a couple of moments where it was like, okay, let's use this to advance. But there was to the point where, like, when the Thunderdome got introduced, I mean, then pretty much said no more. But then we saw other companies. I mean, Control Your Narrative pretty much did the whole film matches.
Yeah. Oh, is that still around? Like
Macaroni EC3 was like the first one I could think of.
What was the name of the drone?
Vanguard 1.
I love that shit. It's
like Senior Benjamin, like King Maxwell.
Yeah, everybody had a role. Everybody had a role to play. Next up, I got it.
I mean, also, like, let's be real here too. Jeremy Borash, for all the praise he got at TNA, the stuff that he can do behind the scenes doesn't get praised much. And I was starting to hear him too on LFG as a commentator.
Yeah. But he did. He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't get a lot of credit. That you would think a guy like that. All I thought was he was a commentator,
Genius.
but he's the genius behind there. So much so, look what he did. He brought a lot of his Impact guys over to the WWE as well.
I mean, think about this now. One of the best Impact characters in the company history is in the WWE video game, and that character never made one appearance on WWE television.
Shout out to Chris Park. Shout out to Abyss, man. Next up, 2019 Impact Wrestling Bash at the Brewery. Why can I not say brewery? Okay,
it's your favorite thing, and you can't.
I know, right? Word. Brewery. What the fuck? Is that the Brooklyn in me? I don't know. Was held at Freetail Brewery in San Antonio, Texas. The Impact Wrestling World Tag Team titles were won by the North, Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, after they defeated the Latin American Exchange, Ortiz and Santana. Oh man.
If this was never written out, if you would have asked me when did Ethan Page and Josh Alexander win the belts, I would have said this is not one of my guesses. I would have said, oh, maybe a random episode of TNA.
Right.
Not the fucking brewery.
That tag team was fucking gold, man. I love the North, man.
We could have had them in NXT. But
yeah.
Josh went the other way, but that's fine.
That's fucking great. But yeah. I didn't see this event. We should look for it. Maybe we'll do a watch along if we can.
Well, this would start their longest reign.
Right.
They're still the longest reigning tag team champions in company history.
Right.
But also too, just
was this also the kiss off before Ortiz and Santana went to AEW? Because it was around the same time. Yeah.
But they lost and they did the anniversary show. And
right.
We went up to AEW.
Right. Next up, you got it.
It's a bit sad to see. Like it's like what could have been.
Right.
July 6th, 1998, WCW Monday Nitro was at the Georgia Dome, Atlanta, Georgia, in front of over 41,000 fans. In the main event, in his hometown, United States champion Goldberg pinned Hulk Hogan clean in the middle of the ring following a spear and a jackhammer to become the WCW heavyweight champion and extend his legendary unbeaten streak.
Whoa, 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 whoa. This was actually the downfall of WCW. This is when it started going down.
Also, let's remind people that this match was randomly announced on the Thunder before,
right?
Made for that Monday with no build.
No build. They wanted to sell out.
This is the go home show for the Bash at the Beach pay per view that Goldberg was not in the main event of.
Right.
This was the Hogan, Rodman, DDP Malone match,
and they wanted to sell out the Georgia Dome.
Fine, fuck it. I mean, it worked.
Yeah.
One sellout, cool, but now it's like you have the belt on Goldberg, and what's he doing? I mean, I had to look at like what he did after. It's like Meng, Roadblock, the Giant, Shark. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they after this is when WCW went to shit. It started going downhill from here. Everybody, it was predictable. Everybody knew what was going to happen. They know that Goldberg was going to win, and they had said,
I'm making this face because
you did this
because it's also skeptical that Hogan would lose on a random Nitro,
right? And and especially for Hogan, to allow this to happen, it's like on a
because we
could have sold tickets for this, brother.
Well, that too, because also if you attempt to it's a sellout, the whole 10th hero gets the belt, but then it's also like you get the belt eventually. Just let's do this for a little bit. But they never did the rematch too. This is the only Goldberg Hogan match ever.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. That's why I said that they pretty much burned themselves off after this because they never really had a follow up with it.
And it's 2025 and Goldberg's still challenging for world heavyweight titles.
So you guys Saturday night's main event.
With his reports of him having a bad back, don't do jackhammer. Don't even try it.
No, we're gonna get fucking. It's gonna happen, and fucking Gunther's gonna kick out of that shit.
That's 0.
Fuck that. Yeah, right. No, sell that bitch.
Next up in 2019, MLW Kings of Coliseum took place at the
Cesario
Stadium in Chicago, Illinois. Jacob Fatu, our boy, defeated Tom Lawler to win the MLW World Heavyweight title. And later in the show, The Dynasty, MJF, and Richard Holiday beat the Hart Foundation. Brian Pillman Jr. and Teddy Hart for the MLW Tag Team belts in a ladder match.
I write this because we were talking about the athletes. I posted this because Tom Lawler, who transitioned he was a MMA fighter as well. I remember watching this. I was getting into MLW at the time, and
this was definitely their peak.
Their peak, yeah, definitely. This was their time.
And then AEW came around and took half their talent, which hurt them. MLW also hurt themselves, but
yeah,
that's a story for a different day. But
Jacob was the fucking man at the time, man. Leader of Contra.
As soon as he popped up, you knew the way he did like the best moonsault ever.
Mm-hmm.
Easily with his size, which he was bigger than he is now. He's a fantastic shape man. So.
Shit, the Dynasty, man. I love that fucking tag team, man. MJF and then Holiday, they were fucking cool as shit at that time. Hammerstone was there, yeah.
It's definitely weird seeing how all things. We knew MJF was going to be bound for greatness.
Mm-hmm.
Holiday's doing his thing on the independents. I mean, he's doing a good run in GCW.
Mm-hmm.
Hammerstone kind of seems lost, which kind of sucks.
I think somewhere along the line he's gonna get a comeuppance. I don't know how, but something's going on. I think you know what it is too. He has a very strong personality when it comes to wrestling and his thoughts about it. So I think that could be probably an issue, a confliction. But to think we're here on the show talking about the Hart Foundation, Pillman, Lexus King, and Teddy Hart, who is
in jail.
Teddy Hart.
I think.
No, I don't think he's locked up. I think he's just out there. If you haven't seen his documentary, yeah, you could see you could tell what it is.
But yeah, Brian Pillman Jr. He's one of those guys like, why are you not clicking?
Yeah. Next up, I'll take it. 1996 at WCW's Bash at the Beach was held at Ocean Center in Daytona Beach, Florida, in front of 8,300 fans. The main event was night billed as the Hostile Takeover match and had the Team WCW, Savage, Sting, and Luger face off against the Outsiders, Hall, and Kevin Nash. In a mystery third man, Hall and Nash came to the ring without a partner, but a Luger was taken out of the match early on and made it a 2 versus 2. Towards the end of the match, Hogan made his way to the ring, causing Hall and Nash to jump outside, leaving a down Savage on the mat. Hogan, in a shocking betrayal to WCW, hit Savage with multiple leg drops and turned heel for the first time in recent history. Nash and Hall got back in the ring, and the NWO was formed. I remember watching this.
I had a third man. What?
Shut up, Bobby! Shut up! It's like, I remember watching this, and a friend of mine, shout out to my boy Baller, it was a huge Hogan mark, and he lost his shit in a good way. He fucking loved it. He's like, oh, yes, finally, we're done. You know about this shit. The red and yellow, fucking. He was just losing his mind, yeah. And I wasn't in shock because I knew years before Hogan used to be a heel, but I was just like, well, that's interesting. I was like, well, that's pretty interesting.
It's also interesting too of like who he's with now. It's like, oh, he's with Razor Ramon and Diesel.
Right. It's like, okay. All right. I remember the later on the initial person they went for was Sting to do it. But Sting, another one who has a very strong personality when it comes to professional wrestling, wasn't a big fan of being a heel. So yeah, we're not doing that. So, yeah.
I mean, if I was booking, Macho Man could have been another solid option.
Right.
Because I think
he was a former WWF guy as well. So
he's also closer to these two. Like how does Hogan know these two?
Yeah. I think it was, in the documentaries, they said it was like almost towards the last hour that he made the decision to do it. So,
which I call bullshit, but
of course.
Let's also address the elephant in the room that people say that the John Cena turn is on the same level as this. But I think now it's like we need to calm down on that.
Yeah. I don't know.
John Cena's turn is on a different scale than this.
Yeah. It's not as monumental as Hogan's turn. But yeah, it is what it is.
It was funny after this when the Mean Gene went in and he's like, "Look at all this garbage that these people are throwing at you," and then Hogan's like, like it seems so natural too when Hogan was talking. Like, tell all these people to shut up and take a listen to what I have to say.
It seems like he's really, like he for years he's been dying to say that shit. Shit, after did you get to watch the WrestleMania 9 documentary?
Yes.
Oh my lord. What they are praising that thing to be such fucking to the highest regard, like as though it was great. It was fucking garbage. Check it out, guys, if you haven't seen it. It's fucking hilarious. 1997 on another night WCW Nitro in Memphis, Tennessee. Randy Savage took on La Parka.
I remember this.
Savage lost the match after La Parka, quote unquote, hit him with a diamond cutter. Took off his mask to reveal himself as Diamond Dallas Page and got the pin. Great moment in fucking wrestling in WCW. One of my favorites.
This was definitely one of those rare moments where you don't expect the American wrestler to steal the luchador costume and use it to their advantage.
I know,
because it's like even commentary was like, well, Parker looks a little taller today. Like what's going on here? And then when he hits the cutter, goes for the pin, takes the mask off, goes, and Tony's like, oh, holy shit, it's DDP. He did it again.
This was the climb of DDP. Remember, we had probably a year prior. You'll know a little bit more.
Yeah, he was a heel smoking cigars.
Yeah, right. And this is when the climb of his stardom began. I remember listening to a documentary. No, it was a shoot interview where they spoke about it, and Savage turned to DDP. He goes, "Well, looks like I'm gonna be eating the cutter tonight." Yeah, and that's when Diamond Dallas Page was like, "Oh shit, like it's gonna happen." When they were setting up for the match, the booker at the time, not the booker, the agent at the time was Paul Orndorff. And he approaches Savage and La Parka walking through it, and he has the clipboard in his hand. And he goes, Savage and La Parka, you guys are going on third. And he looked and he sees that DDP in the outfit without the mask, and he's like, whatever. So
not even questioning what's going on.
He's just like,
okay,
whatever. Parker, you're going over. All right. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
My favorite part is apparently DDP wrote a letter to Macho Man, like I say, thank you for everything. Yeah. And Macho had to go to his father and be like, has any wrestler done this with you? And he's like, no, never.
Yeah, so Randy, he was very touched by it. Yeah,
Randy went to DDP, like gave him a big hug. It's like this is the most awesome thing like anybody's ever done.
He said,
it's like DDP was showing so much gratitude because like this, like you said, this was putting DDP up to that next level of you're about to be a main event.
But the best part about it was like DDP was like you never knew what you was gonna get with Savage, and like when he finally grabbed him and he hugged him with tears in his eye, he was like, holy shit. I was like, he's crazy.
But this guy was about to, I was like, I think I remember his reaction. He was like, either I'm about to, like, he's about to embrace me or he's like, he's going to
punch me. He said, miss you, Macho Man. He was awesome. And finally,
we were so robbed of
the
Hall of Fame speech.
In 2003, in the opening of the WWE Monday Night Raw in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Booker T defeated Christian to become the WWE Intercontinental Champion for the first and only time. Wow. He only had one IC title run.
It's like, when you think of like people that have been in the Hall of Fame, like look at the title stats, like Booker's only been one time Intercontinental Champion. Randy Orton's only been Intercontinental Champion one time.
Right.
Like,
right.
Certain people did hold, like John Cena, like he's held every belt except Intercontinental.
Right. And Sheamus has not won the IC title yet.
Well, I think Sheamus is that one's happening.
You think so?
It has to. They keep telling the story.
Right.
Also,
but now that Rusev is there, it's like got a bump in the road there.
That's one of those things too. But with Sheamus, like that's a story they need to finish out.
Yeah.
Like with Cody, like finish the story. It's like, Sheamus, please fucking win.
Yeah, he needs to get his Triple Crown. He needs to get done. He needs his Grand Slam. Gotta happen for him.
And considering his age, all the matches he's been putting on week after week after banger after banger after banger after banger.
I saw what you did there.
Like also, like Drew McIntyre, never been a U.S. champion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, it's interesting stats for certain people.
Mm. But yeah, man, and that's gonna close us out here in This Week in Wrestling.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it for History and Headlocks too. Where I don't mean to put you on the spot, but if Ari's not available for the next episode, might as well come back.
Ooh.
And since we talked about sports athletes, I think it's only fair to talk about arguably the GOAT, greatest athlete of all time,
Ric Flair.
Won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck.
Chad Gable.
His father.
That's Jason Jordan's father.
No.
Man, Kurt Angle?
Yeah,
that's a great conversation, man.
We'll talk about his upbringing, which is definitely going to be very interesting to talk about before we even get to his whole career. We'll talk about him with the medal, how he transitioned into wrestling itself, and talk about how the highs and the lows, and how a little kid from Pittsburgh became arguably one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
Oh, great. And I would like to be a part of that. Also want to discuss that I would love to do it under a ring apron with you.
Really?
Yeah, we spoke about it in the group chat. I have some interviews that wrestlers have done on the Howard Stern show, and I would love to do one of those on an episode under the ring apron. Yeah, we should line that up for some time in the next week or so we could get that done as well.
Well, as you hear, a lot of stuff coming to New York Wrestling Media on YouTube. But either by now or we're getting very close to 100 subscribers on the channel.
Yeah, let's go, guys. Let's get it going. Crank it out. Damn it. Let's get to 100.
We're now with me and Jay doing an episode on Kurt Angle, and you're going to hear me on Under the Ring Apron as well. Definitely is the time to like, comment, and subscribe for all future stuff.
Yeah, man. And as always, make sure you check us out on Turbo Tabloid. You see the banner behind me. And make sure you check us out on all the podcasting outlets for that, as well as the socials on Turbo Tab on Twitter. On Instagram. I don't know how the fuck we're not even on X anymore. On TikTok, it ain't even on there either.
The Turbo Tabloid Twitter posted some very
positive,
inspirational stuff. That's not us.
That's not us. We're not on TikTok either. We're on the New York Wrestle Media. NY Wrestle Media on TikTok. Turbo Tabloid is no longer there. I saw the son of a bitch who hacked my shit. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna see if I can get it back.
Really?
Yeah. He's posting some car shit on there. I don't know what the fuck it is. But we gotta get our numbers back up on there as well. And as always, guys, thank you guys for checking in with us here on New York Wrestle Media and on History and Headlocks.
Everybody's gotta stop hacking you. There's no reason to.
I don't know what the fuck it is. I wish it was the fact that I had the ad revenues and such for it, but I don't even got that. I ain't got shit. Oh, that's why I'm doing overtime, ladies and gentlemen.
Make sure you follow all that, but also for Instagram too, we do have a History of Headlocks page, NYWM_History Headlocks, where we post content or clips from different episodes, or we post history events related to the day. So go and follow that one, and tpublic.com for this shirt as well, so you too can join the movement. And for this episode closing, please stay cool. But please stay cool regardless of the weather, and just be an awesome person.
Like and subscribe, be a part of the vibe. Love you guys. Bye.
Sit, turn type, sit. Good boy. Ruff.